the best one, bro. The other one is nice just for variety, but when you drink it enough, you're gonna be like, ah, I need a Franciscana now. But the Franciscana, you can just keep drinking forever, bro.
Yeah, they're so good. That you know what I realized? I realized that there's like a hint of there's almost like a hint of banana in it. There's like a fruity little taste in there that's like almost like a hint, like a sour banana or something in it that's like amazing.
Yeah, sure. Especially like chicks that don't like beer. When I give them like a slice of pizza and that beer, they just like instantly, what is this?
Yeah,
It's
like
like completely different animal, bro.
oh yeah, I'm gonna bring these up to my sister, my brother-in-law, because he likes beer, but she'll have a beer or two, whatever he's drinking. He usually drinks like Yingling or something like that. But yeah, these are I'm definitely gonna be bringing these up there because he's my sister's gonna love these too, even my brother-in-law. We're fastly approaching this February 14th date too for when these steaks come out. So that's gonna be another exciting day.
Is that steak you're talking about? Is that like just one of those kind of rotating ones, like monthly ones, or that's been in there for some time?
It's the 180 days. So you know how the different periods for staking. We had the 90-day, then or
Oh,
30
I see.
day.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. I've got one of those steaks coming out that
yeah.
time as well. Yeah, it's gonna be blast off. Auctions are gonna go insane. Loads of burning of Hedron. More happiness in all of our hearts.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting to see kind of like the percentage of HSIs, or no, it's gonna be interesting to see what gets sold and what gets restaked or just keeps running. That's what I'm most interested to see for the year market, the 1 year mark. How much is going to get sold off? How much is going to get unstaked or end staked? And then how many people are just going to let it ride? Just like the Godwell, like that's the one I'm obviously most interesting to see. Is like the Godwell, what's he going to do after the year's up?
Yeah, I think the bigger the player, the bigger the stake, the much more high likelihood of it staying staked and just rolling with it. You know.
Yeah, it'd be nice, hopefully. Especially if someone's realizing we're just at the beginning of this bull, like, yeah, waiting on it.
Yeah, well, exactly. But the other thing to consider there is obviously like, you can unstake it without any penalty at that point. But if you lock it back up again for 360 days, then you can't get your hands on it. So it does actually make sense to just big ones. But yeah, what I thought you were talking about, I just got off like a different spaces, and Axis Alive is in there talking about a big a really big hex stake that's coming out pretty soon. I think in February, which is going to really ramp up the share rate in quite a big way.
Mm.
Always well crafted. Hex was the last crypto I purchased. Like I bought a bunch of them.
Was that the spaces? You put the spaces on?
So
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bath. So I'm gonna listen to the spaces, listen to you guys, and think about Mike while I'm in the bar. Allegedly.
All right, boys. Pizza or buffalo wings?
Pizza.
Ooh,
Pizza.
bro. I had so much pizza, I would almost pick buffalo wings.
I'm eating pizza tonight.
Nice. Yeah. I'm trying to think here.
Friday pizza night, bro.
Pizza and coffee.
What's gonna get there
Dang,
faster?
man.
It'll be both the same. It'll be the same.
I mean, a 4 cheese or a double cheese. It's not bad.
Oh yeah, I do. Double cheese. We call it here extra cheese in America. Extra cheese, pepperoni, or extra cheese, pepperoni, meatball.
3 meat.
3 meats, sausage.
What about a
pepperoni,
Philly
meatball.
steak, dude?
And I'm not. I don't like getting too fancy into the different types of pizzas. Like I would get just a cheesesteak if I was gonna do a cheesesteak. But the
I see.
chicken parm pizzas are actually pretty good. The reason why though is because, especially because I was a pizza maker for almost 3 years too, so I know this. For dealing with cheesesteak pizzas, it's just way more. You hold more of the moisture and the juiciness in an actual sandwich, a hoagie, a sub, compared to on a pizza. Unless you do it the right way, into where you basically you cook the dough almost to full cook, then you add the cheesesteak on top, and then American cheese or whatever type of cheese you want afterwards, just to finish off, just to basically melt the cheese. That's a good way of doing it. You can almost do the same thing with different. There's all different ways to cook buffalo chicken pizza too.
Yeah, honestly, personally, I just like plain pizzas, like margarita or 4
Yeah,
cheese,
margarita.
double cheese, like you said.
Oh yeah,
I like
oh
that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, margaritas are really good. Margarita, or even like, I don't know. You're out in California. I don't know if they call them like grandma pizza. It's almost like kind of like a reverse Sicilian. It's like cheese on top of the dough, and then the sauce and thick Parmesan on top of that. We call it a nonna or a grandma pizza.
Interesting. Icosa almost back to 95 cents. So I don't know.
So nuts. Fucking nuts.
Should we have like an Icosa group hug or what, bro?
Yeah,
My
Yeah,
arms
sure
are
we
out
should.
right now.
warm embrace.
I heard 95 cent Icosa, and he's like, filet mignon?
Yes. Yes.
You were asleep. You woke up.
The pizza night.
Oh damn, that's crazy. Yeah, 94.57. Barrow.
Oh, it's a beautiful day here in crypto land. My neighbor was telling me he's eating shit on all his investments, like eating shit. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm staking my Icosa over here. Oh shit, dude, even Hex is at 4 cents. Let's go, dude.
Everything's pumping, bro, in our system. Hedron is 22.
Ooh.
Such a nice day.
$1.46 right now. So the question is the FOMO going to kick in within the next couple of days for people to acquire a Icosa and stake it to gain some value from the big burn that is coming up? Is it going to happen now or right before? I mean, it should ideally be happening now, right?
I think ideally it should have already happened, but like people don't like to necessarily plan ahead. So like we might see a FOMO buy day before, especially if there's like more HSIs through in, or maybe like Icosa just keeps, or Hex keeps going up. You know, if Hex just goes up, man, like we get, you know, Icosa's going to go along with it. More than likely.
Yeah, in crypto, I think it's sometimes better to set your bets on the irrational than the logical. So yeah, I think like right prior to the auctions going live, we're probably going to see a pump.
Ho ho ho! That sweet, sweet yield. You know, I like with Icosa because like you can we're talking about like cash out and stuff. It's like I feel like it like trains you to just cash out casually as you like get your stakes done. They're 30, 90, 180 days, and then if you want, you could sell the interest or you can compound everything to get more points. So like I'm going to just casually be selling some yield from time to time.
Everyone doing good today with all the puppets we got?
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, it's been a while, and it's really good to see the green candles, to see X, Hedron, Icosa, all pumped. I mean, oh yeah, it's good.
I can hear the relief in your voice. It does. It's reminiscent to last year. Yeah.
It's a nice reward after all that bear market.
Yeah, even though it's like a very small reward, right? It's like we're like all happy from it going from like 1.8 to like 4 cents, where it's like we've been on this such long downtrend. It's funny to think that we're happy about a slight little pump, like almost 100% or just over 100%. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yep.
the wind, the winds have changed, and that's a thing to be happy about, because it was like someone just said, down, 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 red candles. I mean, so now we're seeing a change in direction. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, all those little DCAs paid off.
Our company saved over
I
$4
was just gonna say the same thing Hex would.
God, all these green candles, all this fucking fun stuff. Whew. Man, oh man, what a beautiful thing.
It's nice to see.
It's like the good old days. Good old days are back.
I'm not convinced until I hear Ryan say, "Get your Hedron started."
Who's Ryan?
Oh, you don't know about Ryan? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you came after him. Get your Hedron started. Just talking about eating mushrooms all day long. Started.
I've noticed the total supply has gone down off of the market. So obviously there's been people market buying. You know, the hype's getting out there.
Yeah, it's dropped by like 70,000. Something like that, yeah.
Beautiful thing with Icosa, it's quite easy to push up the price when, you know, they buy off it, stake it, and they're locked in, you know, and rightfully so, because the yield is incredible. Lock it up,
As you
stake it
can
up.
predict a high payout with the 180 days coming up.
Combine that with good hex performance as well. Whew.
Are the payouts for Icosa mainly big because of people emergency in staking, or is there a second component too?
No, the main payout for Icosa is based on how much Hedron is burned the previous day, divided by the T-share.
Plus, let's be honest, guys, you cannot end Icosa stake early. You pretty much lose it all. So you stay out to the end. It's a little bit different with hex.
No, you can end Icosa stake. You get
But am I right?
penalized. Go ahead.
Very heavily, right?
I mean, if you served half your stake, you're gonna get penalized 50%. If you serve 75% of your stake, you're gonna get penalized 25%. So when you reach close to the end of the stake, then you can take like a 2% penalty, 3% penalty of your yield and your principal. So it scales like in a linear fashion.
I'm a big fan of those tokenomics because it really leaves people to just stay in the game.
I mean, yeah, but you always have the option, because prior to the bonuses being removed, if you did not serve the full length of your stake, you wouldn't be able to acquire the bonus. But now, since there's no bonus, you can actually make a strategic play. If you're only going to take a 3% penalty, but you can capitalize on a free market, when the token appreciation rises and you want to, take some profits before, because if you wait out your stake like an extra 3-4 days, what if the price goes down and you missed an opportunity? So now you can make the choice. Are you going to take a 3% penalty, a 5% penalty, but capitalize on the market? Or are you going to sit your stake out because you don't want to play with that game? But before, you had to sit out your stake in order to acquire the bonus, but now you don't. And also a quick detail, even though the bonuses are not there anymore for the Icosa and Hedron staking pool, you're still getting the bonus if you have a Watsa, because the 10% bonus that you get for Quattro Cinco stakes still gets copied to the Watsa holders.
Hey, Kismet, can you remind me if somebody does end their stake early and they're penalised on the Icosa side. Where does that Icosa, the Icosa that they're penalised, where does that go?
The Icosa, if I'm not mistaken, it gets redistributed to the staker class. The Hedron that you have, I think 50%. Actually, I need to clean up my memory real quick. Let me see, because I don't remember if it's the Hedron that works like that or the Icosa staking pool that works like that. But as far as I remember, 50% of it gets burned, and that gets calculated into the yield, and the other 50% just gets sent straight back into the Icosa staking pool and gets distributed to the Icosa stakers, just in pure Hedron terms.
Right.
Let me just double check real quick.
Is that written down somewhere, or is it something that you're just buffering out of your brain?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's written down, but I keep mixing up if there was a difference between the Hedron staking pool and the Icosa staking pool. So I just need to clarify that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the bath. Yeah, Kismet's right. So like, there's a difference between the two. So 50% of the Hedron penalty is burned, which in turn will result in Icosa yield the next day. The other 50% of the Hedron penalty is given to the Icosa pool. Then the Icosa penalty is just distributed to all the pools evenly. But yeah, I'm in the bath.
All right, there. I put it in the main chat for anyone who's interested. But yeah, thanks for clarifying, Nomad.
Thank you for linking it, dude. Cheers.
What time's the after party kicking off tonight then, Mark?
Well, whenever it kicks off, man. Like, I'm sure we're going to have quite a few people because of the green candles. People are probably all wondering what's going on. They don't even realize. They don't even know. Yeah, I've been fucking ready to go today.
Mike, are you too young to know who Bobcat is? Bobcat Goldberg or whatever his last name was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bobcat. Yeah, you'll know who he is. From the Nerds. The crazy guy.
He would just be talking normal tone of voice, and then all of a sudden just scream like out of nowhere.
What was Bob?
Let's see if I can find a clip.
His name is Bobcat Goldthwait. He was in Police Academy movies.
Oh, duh. Yeah, Police Academy. I don't know why I said the Nerds. I was thinking of the Booger.
Yeah, that's Curtis Armstrong.
Sorry, I'm related to crypto. I'm speaking to Synthwave. Dude, since your name is Synthwave, what's your favorite Synthwave band? Since I'm well into it.
Well, that's a very broad topic. I'm really partial to Carpenter Brute. He has a lot of good tracks.
I'll check them out. I've not heard of that. What initially got me into it was The Midnight, but I'll end
Oh,
that
yeah.
conversation here. Yeah, I
Uh,
love
like
them.
One
But
Night
Brute, what were they called? Brute?
Carpenter Brute, BRUT.
Carpenter Brute. I'll check them out now.
Yeah.
Cheers, dude.
Turbo Killer is one of the best music videos around. You should check it out.
Be right back.
Yeah.
My dad used to wear Brute.
Bet it smells good.
Mike, watch that video down below, and you'll know exactly who we were talking about.
Yeah, it does seem like me. Sometimes you just gotta, let it out. You gotta be a little loud.
You should reenact that whole scene as for your intro on YouTube.
Yeah, Mike, are you streaming on YouTube or are you planning to?
Not yet. I think that I don't know. I think that I might just I don't know. I'm blah. I'm liking Rumble right now. I haven't like fully decided, but it's looking like Rumble. I think only Rumble could maybe handle mic unmuted. You know what I'm saying?
That or Grime? Well, whichever platform you decide to go on, you can be sure that there'll be a few of us in there trolling away for your amusement.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You gotta troll people. You gotta. Ew. Oh man, Watts has got expensive. Watts has got expensive.
Yeah, good deals have dried up. We've got a lot of eyes on it now, and we don't even have the art yet. Let's go.
I'm very excited. Very excited to see. It's like you don't know what you're going to get. What is that? Like the Wonder Ball? You guys remember that candy?
I
Oh,
hope
what?
there never is
Yeah.
any art. Imagine how much that would troll the NFT bros to have the most expensive NFTs with no art. That'd be so good.
That's so funny.
I want that.
Hey, regarding the Watsons and NFTs and that side of things, has there ever been any like enthusiastic sounds from any like NFT platforms that are planning to go on Pulse Chain, like Mintra or anything? Have they ever come in and started saying, "Hey, like we want your Watsons on our platform"?
I haven't heard anything.
That was a cool video.
Glad you like it.
Oh man, I look at that Watsa market and I'm like, fuck, man. I'm glad I bought mine. Lol, the cheapest one is $50. Oh my goodness. $50 for 120 points. Oh my goodness. That's like highway robbery, but it's what they're worth, you know, so
So I've got a bit of a question. Will the Watson market open up on Pulse Chain as well? You know,
Seriously?
I know there was
since
people doing
eventually
something.
they'll
I
get
think,
copied over.
I think Gerardo was doing something with like an NFT marketplace.
Mintra, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, in answer to your question, yeah, Watsons will be copied over onto Pulse Chain. So yeah, they'll be the same.
Power City's working on an NFT marketplace too.
Remember, guys, the launch of my new token is going to be coming out kind of soon. So working with the dev team, exciting things, man. True DeFi. No admin keys.
Just please don't put a dog on it. Put a bobcat or something.
Bitch, I'm putting Koga on that shit.
Fucking Jesus.
Dude, well, like, you think about this. You know, me and Trevor talked about this. Like, he was just like, you know, we were like, it's got a fox on it. Like, everyone, you gotta buy that token. Like, look at Uniswap. They have a fucking unicorn on it. Boom. It doesn't even have tokenomics. It just goes up and to the right. Imagine if I put Koga on the front of a token. I'm just saying.
You could put
No admin keys.
It
a
already has
butthole
more
on it.
utility than Zen.
Free airdrop.
So true.
Free airdrop.
I can't wait for this next bull run. I can't wait. I remember last bull run. I was in Dogecoin chats on YouTube, pump parties. It was so gay. This is gonna be such a better bull now that I have a handle on like what real crypto is. I watched my bag get pumped all big time, and then Voyager shut down, and I couldn't fucking get my money out. I was so pissed. For a day and a half, I watched my shit go fucking below my investment price. And like, dude, I could have probably paid off half my house with what I would have made if I could have sold the top. I was so pissed. Take all your money off of centralized exchanges, for fuck's sake.
Invest in Litecoin.
Oh my god, Litecoin. I loved it where what was his name? Who was the guy who made it? Can't remember his name.
Charlie Lee.
Charlie
I
Lee.
didn't say Litecoin. I didn't say Litecoin. I said Mikecoin.
Oh,
Dude, Mikecoin 69 max supply.
This. I remember when he went up on like CNBC and he was like, yeah, he's talking all about Litecoin shit. He's like, yeah, it's the future. It's the silver to Bitcoin's gold and all this shit. And then like he went and dumped all his coins. And then he's like, I dumped all my coins so I wouldn't like have a conflict of interest after he shilled at the top.
Yeah, that shit's still, Litecoin, for instance, it's still one of those fucking coins that just hangs on. Like you see it advertised everywhere. It's still fucking promoted like a lot. It's like considered a top coin, with Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's just fucking gay.
He hasn't even done anything to it, right? Like I think it just has bigger blocks or something. Like there's nothing there. Like privacy never came. I don't think.
I mean, I've heard, Famous, if you know who Famous is, he talks about Litecoin and like fast transactions and like maybe it could be a currency or something. Okay, maybe something like that.
It's the Bud Light of crypto.
I like Miller Lite better.
Because Bud Light is just watered down beer. Litecoin is just a watered down coin.
Mike, that was like a terrible fucking sidestep.
Wait, what was? Was it terrible?
Miller Lite, like that's an upgrade to Bud Light.
Well, that's what I said, because I'm only one step above a total shitter. Maybe a half step. I don't know.
Yeah, level up, bro. Get some good beer.
Dude, I got some good beer the other day, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know how my buddy drinks the shit, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, I want it to be like more refreshing than like I'm drinking like fucking bitter syrup.
You probably put creamer in your coffee, don't you?
Dude. Yeah.
You're one step away from not having a penis.
Dude, like it's like that fine balance of sweetness and bitterness. It's like that perfect balance, okay? Just because I'm not a grumpy old man like you. Like, don't hate, all right?
The bitter helps you discern when you are eating something sweet. So it's good to be bitter, and then you can appreciate the sweet more. You mix it all up all the time, then you're fucking gray everywhere. Oh, nothing's really. Is it bitter or is it sweet? You know what I mean? Like, dude, you gotta have like
The
full
bitter
flavor.
sweet shitness.
Go ahead and judge.
Just
Go
like
ahead
you gotta,
and judge,
you
Mr.
gotta
Flat Earth.
break
Just keep
yourself.
judging.
You gotta get broke before you can appreciate getting rich. I think people that just like got lucky right away, they get into crypto and all of a sudden they're fucking rich. They don't, and they were never broke to begin with. They just were able to like go dig into their savings that mom and dad saved for them and fucking go get rich. I don't think they really can appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like go through
True.
some hard times or some shit.
Yeah, I lived in my car for like 2 years, maybe 3 if you include the like when I was working. Like I basically lived in my car. Great, who I am today, so don't regret it. One time I did fall asleep during the summer in my car, and like, dude, I woke up and I thought I was gonna die. It was so fucking hot.
Did you stop sweating? Because then you were in danger. Like if you're not sweating anymore, then you are like seriously
Oh,
heat
okay.
exhaustion.
No,
or
I
whatever.
was dripping. I was dripping and just like was like,
Car sauna. Start a business. Where's Hamish? Where's Hamish? So we could talk conspiracy theories.
Jawa, have you seen the new art thing at that Denver airport? Like, what the fuck is up with that airport, man? Have you seen that?
oh god.
I mean,
What
that's
is
not
it?
new. That's been around for 20 years at least. But
The
you're
the
talking
one
about
with
like the
the
crazy, all the fucking apocalyptic looking shit.
no, not that one. No, there's some sort of new like exhibit or something. It's the flat Earth globe one I'm talking about.
I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. That would probably interest me though.
Joe, I've got a conspiracy for you if you're ready to hear it.
Sure.
Have you heard of the Younger Dryas, the post-apocalyptic, the story of the previous generations of this world?
Say the name of them again.
So there's a period in time that they called the Younger Dryas. There's a guy who's been on Joe Rogan a few times called Graham Hancock. Yeah, it's not a joke, Hancock. But yeah, he's got a theory that, the pyramids, there's a lot of ancient sites that were made way before what they think the human civilization.
Yeah, that guy's got a series on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah.
It's they found like a pyramid in Asia somewhere that's like super super old, so they're claiming.
Hey,
Here's the thing
Gobekli
about
Tepe.
carbon dating.
Yeah, that's
Here's the thing about carbon dating is only accurate to what, and he says this in his thing, that it's really only accurate up to like 1,000 years, and then it's really not that accurate. So like all these things that they claim are super old. Like you gotta wonder why all these mountains exist with these fucking trees growing through them and shit. Like it's really curious about timelines and stuff. I definitely actually don't believe it's all that old. Our history is not really as old as they tell us either. So like there's that, but
So yeah, you do think it's older, way older.
well, I think there's been some resets that we're just we're told a lot of things, right? Like history, history is written by the winners of whatever it is, right? So like I think there's been some resets that we just don't even know about because the history books didn't tell us about them. You know what I mean?
But in reality, history's told through stories, and stories, a bit like Chinese whispers, changes through every generation or person that it's told through. Each person tells it a little bit different. So yeah, similar
Yeah.
with what could be Atlantis or whatever, you know.
Yeah, what do you
What
call
they
that? We call
think
it telephone. We call that telephone in America. What do you guys call it? Chinese something?
in the UK we call it Chinese whispers.
Oh, interesting.
One particular mystery of the pyramids that always kind of trips me out, is there was no soot found. Like, how the fuck were they lighting everything in those chambers and those fucking rooms? Like, 16th Chapel was covered in soot because they're using candles and flame to fucking light everything. It's one of those things I wonder.
Free
It's like,
energy.
what?
Free
Fucking
energy. They
crazy.
pulled it straight from the fucking ether. There used to be gold tips on all those pyramids, and they could suck energy straight from the fucking ether. And dude, like, go look at the old cathedrals. The old cathedrals all have these spires on top of them, right? And then they went around and grounded them all so they couldn't suck free energy out of the air or out of the ether. Yeah, look into that.
Yeah, dude, there's no way they moved those rocks with primitive technology. There's just no way. I'm just putting it out there. No goddamn way they moved those rocks that we can't move today without mega cranes. They did not
We
do
can
it
move
with
them with somatics. You can fucking move them just through vibration. Like, it can be done. They could have done it back then.
resonance.
Yep, resonance, exactly.
What about the pour technique? Could that be a possibility? They weren't placed, they were poured.
Bullshit.
I don't know.
Dude, they're definitely not poured out of the rock because the rock was already there. It's carved out of the rock. But that currently right now is my favorite theory or conspiracy theory. Sort of the true earth. Jawa.
Yeah, they all interest me. Every single one of them. From Nazis in Antarctica driving or flying UFOs to flat Earth to just all of it, man. Like, I feel like the truth is often stranger than fiction, and that's all I'm after. It's just some truth.
Again, there's no truth without theory, so we've all got to theorize an idea, and it's just an idea at first, but what you think might be true could potentially stranger than fiction. It could be true.
I know a guy that subscribes to the theory about the pyramids were made from us from the future. We came back through time with that technology to build it and some weird thing. Okay, buddy.
Well, I'm still waiting for my future self to come visit me and then tell me, lottery ticket numbers. So that's how I know fucking time travel is probably not true to the way we think of it, like fucking Back to the Future type. You know what I mean? I don't think that's probably the case.
I've heard the argument of going in forward in time because of like going at the speed of light. It makes time, like your time, slower than everyone else's. But I don't know about going back into the past.
They've proven that with satellites, they have to account for time changing relatively when they go faster.
Even with like our watches and stuff, I think they've proven that, like in different like elevations and like there's a whole bunch of different things.
Oh yeah, time travel into the future is definitely possible.
I think time can travel slower, or you can kind of like go into the future, kind of like it's not technically going into the future, just your time is slower than everything else. But yeah.
Time is
Yeah, so
made
Mike,
up, man.
But yeah.
Time
yeah,
is
so
made up,
Mike,
man. Time is a construct that humans made up. So like you could go cross over the fucking time zone line and say you're fucking traveling to the future.
from what I understand anyway, the faster you move, the speed of light, so as close as you can get to the speed of light, you'll move slower than the people that are moving at normal time. So if you can move to the speed of light and then join back to that
Well,
timeline, technically you've gone back in time.
time is actually a dimension. It's not a construct. Like it's like saying length, height, and width is a construct. It's a dimension.
Actually, no. How do you measure love? Can you measure love? Time is like
It
love.
transcends
You can't
time.
measure it.
Mine's about 6 inches, dude.
6 inches.
No, that's how you measure love.
Yeah, 6.5. You're right.
Yeah, specialist, you're talking about like Interstellar, that movie Interstellar, right? Where you wrote, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's true. The heavier the gravity, the faster time moves for you. A bit like the closer you get to a black hole, the heavier the gravity. So time moves faster
Made
for
up.
that person in a heavier gravity.
There's another made up thing. Gravity. Hilarious. Black holes. Made up.
What do you think's at the center of the universe then? Not the universe, the galaxy, sorry, what we spin around.
We don't
Because
spin.
they believe it's a black hole.
They had to make up black holes in space time to account for their lack of evidence of gravity. The only thing we have is mass. Mass is heavier than the medium it exists in, so it travels through it. That's why, it travels down because of a bias, an electrostatic bias, but that's like another conversation.
All right, so since we're all in Icosa and we're all going to the moon, Jawa, is the moon real? Or is it just made of cheese?
Like, it's something. It's a light in the sky. We haven't been there.
One thing about the moon that trips me out is like it doesn't move. Even though it's so they tell us it's spinning and we're spinning, but we look at the sky, it's just the same. So it's like spinning at the same speed or some shit they tell us. I don't know. It's just
They
I don't
tell
get
us
it.
it's tidally locked to
Oh,
the
Yeah, so we only see one side of it.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
more
Yeah, right.
bullshit.
Right. Yeah. I
It's
don't buy it.
a big ball of plasma.
So Elon obviously plans to go to the moon soon. He's picked out a few famous people like Steve Aoki, the DJ. I don't know if you've been on YouTube and heard of the Everyday Astronaut. That dude is going to the moon and is going to orbit it. So I don't know who else is. I think there's another few famous people, one from Korea or something like that. But you know, if they do go and survive a trip around the moon, have they actually done it, or are they just a part of the program, the Matrix? Have they lied about the whole thing? Is that what you think, or did they actually do it? And then, just because you didn't see it happen, maybe it didn't happen. That's what I'm
Do you
wondering.
believe
What do you
Elon
think?
told the? Do you think Elon told the truth when he sent his Tesla to space? You think that thing's orbiting around right now?
Yeah, I genuinely do, because I think the geezer, that's English for the dude, just wants to send things to space and make us multi-planetary. You know, I know people that think that his rockets, the Falcon 9s and stuff, and the Heavy Falcon that has the two boosters on the side, when they go up, they don't actually land back on the ground. Like, it's all CGI. You know, I personally believe what is happening is actually happening. You know, he makes
Do
electric
you
cars. He does. He genuinely
did you
makes
know
electric
that?
cars. They are on the road today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
So why isn't
a
he sending
totally
things to
different
space?
subject. Well, he's lied and he's been caught lying. So once you've been caught lying, it's enough for me not to
Lie
believe
about.
much of anything.
Do you think he
Like
owns Twitter, or
he's
do you
the
think that's
only
a lie?
person. He's the only person that's ever edited a live video on YouTube, and it was able to keep it up as live without an edit, like saying that it was edited or anything.
What do you
It
mean?
showed those two rockets going up and then landing on the pad, and the cameras were actually the same camera because they show it like an outer view of the two rockets landing, one on a white pad with black lettering and one with a black pad with white lettering. Opposite, right? But on the live feed of the cameras, it showed them landing on both black pads with white lettering. And they edited it live. Now this is the only video that's ever been able to keep its views, keep its follow, all this shit, right, as live and not be, you know,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah. Well,
Dude, if you can link it to me, not obviously in an Icosa chat, but if you can link it to me personally, I'd love to check it out.
okay. So basically, NASA has been caught in so much fuckery that they had to come up with another way to convince people that the Earth is a fucking sphere and that we're going, millions of miles through this galaxy, right? So they had to find a new way to do that. So in comes SpaceX, right? So they're just it's just another game. It's the same game NASA's been playing forever, making 43 million a day on your taxes.
Not on my taxes.
Yeah, man. I've got I like to listen to what you're saying, but just can't get on board with that. Sorry, man. But how about this Icosa pump? Woo!
Hell yeah. Market's gonna look good. I'm already imagining myself not really doing anything different, but just having more money.
More money, more options. That's all money is options.
Yeah.
I saw a news article today that scientists invented a robot that can break out of jail.
Like one of like kind of like the Boston Research robots, or what do you mean?
It's like the liquid Terminator from Terminator 2. It's liquid.
Nice.
Go through the bars.
I want to know who's putting a robot in jail though.
Who's putting a liquid robot in jail? That sounds fucking racist, man.
It's coming. When the robot army rises, they're gonna have to put them in jail.
Yeah, ChatGPT or whatever is Skynet version 1 for sure.
Maybe Satoshi was the first iteration of AI. You never know. Probably not though.
No way to know.
Have you guys seen the AI making Seinfeld episodes on Twitch?
I have not.
Apparently there's an AI that is kind of trying to make Seinfeld episodes, and it's pretty weird. You should check it out. Has inappropriate laugh tracks, scenes that just kind of end randomly.
Yeah, recently I saw Jordan Peterson. He made a video where he was talking about how he had ChatGPT write a new chapter of his book, and he said it imitated his writing style perfectly, and it did it in 3 seconds. And it was like, this thing is smarter than me. And he's like, we should all be terrified.
Skynet version 1, boys.
Jordan Peterson creeps me out, man.
Because he sounds
Also,
like Kermit the
yeah.
Frog.
Yeah, I can see his voice.
You need to wash your penis there, bucko.
Clean your bedroom.
I couldn't even make it through his last podcast with Rogan. It was just like, the fuck are we talking about here?
I've only seen clips, but generally he's saying things that aren't that bad in relative terms to what other people in the world are saying. I won't name names.
Mike says all the worst things. He offends everybody.
Shut up, you Democrat. You sound like a Democrat.
Dude, I literally will just tilt people. Like I'm not even trying. Okay, sometimes I'm trying, but like most of the time I'm not trying.
There's a clip I saw on Twitter of a little girl crying, and the mom was asking her what happened, like what's wrong. He's like, Daddy called me a Democrat. I just thought of you.
But in
whole
all
Democrat-
seriousness, it's like Team America, what they say. There's some people are assholes, some people are dicks, and some people are pussies. We gotta have some assholes out there and some dicks.
Yeah,
Or
the
wait,
whole
no.
Democrat. Yeah, the whole Democrat thing got blown out of proportion. Though, it's like what people call themselves Democrats aren't like Democrats of like original, like Democrats of old. It's like a new wave.
Yeah, there's no way that late President Kennedy could run for office today and win. I mean, maybe you could if the damn voting machines were not rigged.
Didn't your president recently say something along the lines of 50% of the women, 100% of the women in my office are 50% women? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's not okay. No, he's definitely not okay.
It works 60% of the time, all the time. That doesn't even make sense. Sounds like something out of Anchorman.
There's one word to describe America.
There probably could be like a 40-hour compilation of all the stupid shit that he said. Gaffes too, like just gaffes, not even stupid things that he's saying, but just gaffes in his speech.
We at Icosa back to 90 cents in both USDC pool and also the Hex Icosa Hex pool. That's nice.
For beer drinkers, I just posted a beer in there that Kismet turned me on to. This beer is incredible. Gotta spread the good word.
Dude, I'm looking at the Seinfeld thing. Pretty funny. I used to watch Seinfeld with my dad when I was a kid.
Oh, I love Seinfeld.
dude, like I'll be real, like there aren't too many shows that like can kind of last, and like that was I think like I watched some clips like a while ago, and fucking like dude, they still make me laugh. It's really silly. Also, the like soundtrack's really good. I'll be real. If I was one of the members of Seinfeld, I'd be Kramer, the tall guy, like who's like fucking nuts. It's just that I don't have any hair.
Yeah, Kramer was funny. I liked him.
I wish you guys were there, like to see me bust into my buddy's house and be like, Brian, you have to learn about X. Like, oh my fucking god, so funny.
I have a pulse chain style question for somebody in here, if possible, that may know, maybe Kismet or something. We just been getting these updates from Richard, these client updates with these screenshots and all this stuff with the loading. Will that need to happen again for mainnet?
Wait, sorry, I was doing other stuff. What? What about mainnet?
No, it's just kind of a general question. I didn't know where to ask it. Richard's been dropping these updates with the client, like the progression of the clients and all this uh, stuff around testnet v3 and where everything's at, right? I'm just wondering, will they need to do that again for mainnet?
I would say no, because when you have the testnet, assuming that there'll only be small tweaks and changes, it's just going to be for clearing up any tiny bugs that they come across. Since I don't think he's going to run into any major changes, kind of like the last change he made was a whole consensus change, because they went from what Binance's was their Binance Smart Chain consensus, I forget what it was called now, to the Ethereum consensus. It's pretty much after this testnet, it's not guaranteed, but any updates he makes after that should be small. So this loading thing, it should only be once, would be my assumption.
Okay, good. That's what I was kind of hoping to hear. Thank you. Thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
We're so
Which
early,
anyone who
guys.
thinks that he'll launch it without a testnet is insane, because it's kind of like, why not just wait a month or two just to make extra sure everything's right? It's like, it makes sense.
I think with such a strong community that the Hex community is, a bit like a beta game, where they'll release a game on early access. If anyone is a gamer, they give access to certain people who can play the game, try and figure out where the glitches are, the bugs are, and if they do find any, if any, they'll amend. Think of it the same way. The
Yeah,
base
it's a
game is
perfect
created,
analogy.
and
It's
then
just
they'll
this
just
is
figure out the little niche the small little glitches in the game and figure it out, and then release.
Because you
when-
could even call this a video game. It's just there's finance involved. People have their money into it, but it is at the end of the day a game ran by software.
Yeah, so just liken it to that, you know. What they're doing is bug testing it. Can you find a bug? If not, how long has it worked for without any bugs? Is it perfect at this point? If it's perfect after a few months, after many transactions, the game theory is correct. Let's release.
I think I remember Richard's biggest concern was the AMM bot that's going to fix ratios. I think he said it's impossible to get perfect, and he's just trying to figure out that what's going to be good enough to just let it do its thing and fix the issues later with it.
Till we get the tokenomics of that incentive coin though. I don't see it launching.
I've heard the tokenomics, it's going to be like Bitcoin, where he wants to have an inflation that cuts off every so often, like 4 years or so. So just expect something like Bitcoin.
For Pulse Chain is deflationary.
No, the incentive token. You're right. Pulse chain's deflationary, but the incentive token is inflation with a that decreases over time.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
I find interesting the PulseX tokenomics. Someone who put it really well in a Twitter thread was someone on Twitter called Goldkey. They explained it really well. Don't know if anyone's seen that thread, but it's well worth a read.
Can you summarize it? I haven't seen it.
You know what? Right now I can't, but I'll try and find it and link it.
With the numbers I ran, the deflation is way more aggressive, will be way more aggressive on PulseX than Pulse Chain.
You know, dude, feels good to be here. We've got 91 cent Icosa, so we're back up to 4 cent Hex. Things are happening.
Maybe you should burn a Watson to celebrate, Mike.
Nah. Maybe I do something like that one day. Be like, we'll burn one just for the boys. You know what's even funnier? Like 91 cents is like just nothing compared to what Icosa can be. You know, like this is nothing. It's like, oh, 200%, we're all cheering, like, woo, 200% on top of all our yield, woo! And then it's just like, oh, dude, this is just the fucking start.
Here's an interesting take. Could an HSI be considered a decentralized credit card?
Decentralized credit card?
Yep. It's not the same, but it's kind of like a. You could draw some similarities.
I'd say it's like a mix between that and a decentralized, like 1x short position when you borrow. So it's kind of like a spot sell, right? Like you sell and buy back lower. So it's like you can take credit trustlessly with a borrow, sell the tokens, buy them back lower, pay off what you borrowed, profit from the difference, which is of course a risk, but it then acts as like a virtual short, whereas like minting is like a virtual long, because even if you, once the coins are minted, whoever, even if you sell them and someone buys them off you, now that new person is long. So it's like minting is like a virtual long and borrowing is like a virtual short. So then if you want to see it like a credit card, like I guess you could make a medley between them. But ultimately, like I think like these things will be used. Like once we have higher prices, it's I think inevitable that borrowing ramps up. And people who may not even know about Hedron now, like Hedron the protocol, right? Not just like the token, will start to see it like you do, Mike. Like, and it won't just be a thing where like, oh, there's this cool token, or there's this thing Hex. Like maybe someone just comes in, it's like, oh, look at this awesome thing where you have this system where you can have this thing called T-shares from Hex stakes, mint Hedron based on how many you have, and then borrow Hedron as well, and it all works together. But they might not even know about Hex, and those people will really see, because we're already focused on Hex, right? We're coming from a point of view from the Hex ecosystem. But imagine the new guy who only sees what you see. First of all, they'll see this amazing, well-oiled machine that just works, and it's just perfect and trustless, you know? So like, I can't wait for that to happen. Maybe, you know, 2 years from now, when there's literally big influxes of new people to Hex, Hedron, Icosa, but they might not even know about the Richard Height ecosystem when they come in, you know?
Yeah, I had a similar thought to that too when I saw this HSI up for auction, the 10 million hex, sold for like $18,000 worth of Hedron. It's like, wow, that's such a good deal.
And so many things are like gimmicks, right? Like, oh, you have this thing and you can like do this and you can trustlessly do this, but it's just a gimmick. But this is actually DeFi. Like, this is actually, you can literally borrow from the blockchain. And it's not even like you can, because in a traditional sense, you get liquidated based on price. But here, it's just time. Like, the only thing that can liquidate you is you not paying on time. And you even get like 3 payment windows. So it's not just, you know, miss a payment and, oh, well, it's like, well, you have to miss 3 consecutive payments or cumulative payments, should I say, and then you get liquidated. So, I mean, it's a very, like, it's a very different, but very real, nonetheless, way to trustlessly borrow from the blockchain. Not just like this gimmick, like, oh, come and buy this NFT, and guess what? It's very much like an NFT is just one section of it, so you can transfer the HSI. Like, really, the HSI is the cream, and the NFT, the tokenizing sending, is one small aspect. And I shouldn't say small to like take away from the brilliance of it, but it's like the fact that you can mint, borrow, and tokenize all those 3 together, and how they can be used and utilized to kind of benefit each other. That's where the source is.
I completely agree with you on that. There's a true ecosystem and game theory between how everything interacts with each other. It's very interesting, and that's what brought me onto this project. What made me really interested in it.
I'm interested in your name, man. Like, when I saw you the other day, I was like intrigued by your name. Is it got any meaning, or is it just a cool name that you thought of?
What's that button you push in the top left-hand corner?
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm intrigued. It's like, well, why is he a specialist in that, right? Like, what does it mean?
Well, that's the mystery, isn't it? But you know, I just thought it was cool, to be fair.
Yeah,
I like
it's
to
cool.
stay anonymous. You know, who I am in my personal life doesn't matter.
Yeah, cool name.
Thank you, dude.
When you say that's what brought you into this, you know, that made you interested in this kind of project and that, did you come from Hex, or did you come completely fresh into this?
No, so a friend put me onto Hex when it was about 0.02p. So it was you know, really small. I put like 100 quid in, saw it go to about 8 grand. I'd staked a very small amount, kept a bit liquid. But from there, and just finding out who Richard Hart was, it was initially just a friend who was also into crypto told me about it. So really, you know, I've been into crypto since early 2017. Was investing a little bit in Bitcoin. Got into XRP, made a bit of money on XRP during the big bull run in 2017. Didn't sell at the top, sold somewhere in the middle, so I made a little bit of money. And just kind of have ridden out the last few years between 2020 to now. And yeah, what I've seen grow off of the Hex ecosystem has been really cool. So that's where I'm at.
Right on.
But you know, in between where I started investing, where it was, you know, there was a lot of the diamond hands stuff. You know, you've got to have a strategy these days, and I think we all get that now. You know, we're all in this to be a part of the game, but also to make a bit of money. You know, so we're all here for the community, of course, but we're not here to diamond hands like a fucking idiot. We're here to be a part of a community, to make money together, and be an escape specialist sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Here, here.
All those in favor of escape specialists say aye.
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 Hey, oh, hi.
I
But again, like what the community's important, and I think this community is pretty cool. That's why I'm a part of it.
Just remember how early we are, guys.
Oh, the classic. We're so early.
Uh-oh. Mango's got the drunk giggles.
No. I only had like 4 beers over the span of like a couple hours now.
Oh, okay. I heard a little. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be going over to my parents' house tomorrow. My brother, his wife, and his kids are going over there, so I'm not gonna get too tuned up.
Uncle Mango.
Flight.
Uncle Junkie, more like.
No.
They're well aware.
I can see we got Max in broadcast listening in. I'm a big fan. Dude, if you're here, I'd love to have a chat.
Hey, I can be here for a little bit, just listening to what you guys are talking about.
Guys, imagine how good Maxim would sound if he had a preamp and a compressor. So just imagine, close your eyes, imagine how good he would sound with a preamp and compressor.
Yeah, so Maxim, dude, you're one of the dudes that kind of made me really see the project, because your YouTube videos are very good, and even the ones where we go back and you're building a shed in the back garden, I'm all about that,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's fun. Times when price starts rising. That's what everyone wants to see.
But obviously, it's cool to see it, but you weren't shilling coins, you were just telling people about the tokenomics of certain coins, just telling them about them, what you were into. And I found that really cool. You weren't shilling nothing really, you were just saying what you found out on the web that you thought were interesting. And I appreciate that, dude. Thank you.
You're right. Yeah, thanks for interpreting it that way. That is how I intended. Is I'm trying to share what I'm thinking and trying to emphasize why. And I'm not saying anything necessarily to be copied or followed, but for other people as individuals to use to develop their own theories. And like, I have had some success, but I mean, it doesn't mean that anything I say is necessarily true. And I take a lot more confidence in talking if I can qualify what I'm saying that way, and try to be very humble, telling anyone that I know what I'm talking about. And I hope the people, if there is value there, can see it for what it is and themselves. And yeah, so I'm glad I think you're picking up on that. That's what I hope for.
Yeah, I appreciate the work you're doing, dude. There's been some chats, podcasts that you've done, and again, you're very neutral, which if I was to do the same, I like to stand along those lines where, again, I don't know what I'm talking about necessarily, but what I do know is just what I know. And if
Yeah.
you want to hear what I know, we'll try and teach it.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm trying hard for my own self to have reasons for thinking, like whatever conclusion I've come to, I want to have reasons for it that makes sense to me rationally. And I do like sharing those with people, and over time I am developing a way of looking at things that I'm slowly getting more confident in. And I do like sharing what I've found with other people, and I hope to be able to continue to do that. And yeah, it's cool to be, you guys were already talking about the community, and this is a pretty cool community to be a part of. And yeah, thankful for all you guys.
Just to add to that point about the neutrality of Maxim, it's like I watched this one clip before. I haven't watched too much because not for lack of want, but maybe lack of time. But there was a point when you were saying we were near the bottom and you didn't know whether it was the bottom, and for that reason you had powder ready to deploy if it went lower, but you weren't gonna assume it's the bottom. And we could go up. You don't know, and you made that clear. And one could see that as like, oh, well, he's on the fence. What's the point streaming? But what was the majority of what you were saying was explaining why, like, why do I feel that it's important to have dry powder if it goes down? And the reason is because I don't know. And so one could see it as, hey, he's on the fence. What's the point watching? But another could find power in teaching themselves that same mentality. So there's where the power could be because it's a different flavor, right? We don't have many people that say that kind of thing. They just give their opinion, but not necessarily their maybe lack of certainty. You had uncertainty, but you explained why you did. And so it's like a new flavor, a new way somebody could, and you can almost win somebody to your way of thinking, which could be net positive for them because then they can think on their own. So I think there's a lot of power in that, and that's definitely beneficial, especially for new people in investing in general.
Thanks, Nomad. That's really cool. I have taken so much value in the almost ironic place of trying to recognize what I don't know, take that into account, and make a plan that's likely to work, taking into account the potential unknowns in front of me. And that's actually worked really well. And I hope to paint, if that is true and it is good, I hope to paint that picture in a way that other people can hopefully benefit from. And I noticed that trait in a lot of people that are very successful, and some of the people that I look up to. The reason I've come to see that, and I hope I can explain it in a way that people can understand and see it too. But the reason that I've seen it is because people that are very good at what they do have done the same thing, and then I've kind of applied it and understood it deeper, and the confidence that comes ironically from recognizing and not being afraid to recognize what you don't know, and then try to make a plan that see if you can find a way to navigate those unknowns where you still win I think it's extremely powerful. And I think it's one of the most confident things that I hold to is that I don't fully know anything. I think it's one of the foundational assumptions, and it doesn't seem like that would be productive, but I found it actually really productive, and it gives, ironically, it can give peace and confidence and comfort and success. And that's cool. I think you picked up on what I was trying to relay, so that's really good to hear.
Yeah, and to do with that uncertainty, something that came to mind when you were speaking is I listened to a podcast, and I forget his name, but I'm trying to think of his name. The biggest holder of Amazon stock outside of the Bezos family, 80% of his portfolio is in Amazon and Bitcoin. And so he was kind of rounding a lot of things up, but one of the things was people come into investing in general, and especially crypto, like, I'm going to manage my risk, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and they're going to kind of have this plan of how they're going to quote unquote manage risk, right? And he said it's kind of like not possible to do that, because if you knew what was to come, you would just make the right move. And with, he gave an analogy, or a comparison, should I say, to insurance companies, where they kind of like work out like the probability of you crashing your car, for example, and put you into like a category. And then they factor in, once every X amount of years, this kind of person on average will crash this many times. And they ensure that they still make profit when you crash. So, overall, their bottom line is still healthy. That's how you manage risk. But with investing, it's kind of like you don't know what's going to happen when things happen. Like, shit hits the fan, and you have to just make use of what you have. You have to like adapt and deal with the circumstances as they come. So not that there's not any power in the person saying, hey, I think the bottom's in because of X, Y, Z. But it's kind of like, well, what can you do with that information? You can either follow him and agree or not, right? But with the kind of mentality that you have, like, hey, I don't know here, so I'm going to do this because of this. And if this happens, I'm good either way. And I can adapt as we go down further or up further. And so it's like people can start to become self-sufficient then. And, let's say 12 months from now, they don't need to listen to Maxim anymore because they have that mentality for themselves. And now they've been taught how to fish, so to speak. So it's like, it's a definite, it's not so much like a strategy, but a mentality shift, I think. And so that's what I picked up.
I would like to analogy a little bit more on what you said about an insurance company. So let's say the summer is a bull market in an insurance company's eyes, but the winter is a bear market. So for an insurance company, there's going to be more crashes in the winter. There's snow on the ground, it's cold, it's icy, there's rain. There's going to be more accidents. But in the summer, there's going to be less crashes. There's going to be prosperity. The premiums aren't going to be as high. But let's be honest. For those people that do want to invest and put their money when it's winter, when it's the worst times to invest, when there's snow on the ground, that's where there's profit to be made. Shit analogy, let's be honest, but you know what I'm saying. In the bear markets, that's where the money's made.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, we'll prosper.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I do use explanations. Like, I have to make a decision, and like even indecision is a choice. So I do try to think in probability. So that's where that part of my equation comes in. If I'm going to take an action, I try to you can never do it accurately. Like, is something that 63%, but I try to think in probabilities as best as I can to clarify. It just helps me clarify how certain I am in something. It also helps me clarify and avoid the trap of thinking I know for sure. Because when I ask myself that question, thinking in percentage, it's never 100%. And but I'm just clarifying this because while I recognize that I know I don't fully know anything, I do have options that are more likely than others. And it's an explanation that helps me determine which is more likely or not. And there's an explanation I have for why I'm playing the crypto game. There's explanations I have for why I choose certain tokens over others. And so it is a framework. And sometimes, I guess I want to clarify that, because sometimes you get caught up in the idea that, which I think is true, that you don't know anything fully 100%. But it doesn't, of course, mean that some things are more likely than others, and that you should probably act according to the best options that you have in front of you. But and that's what clarifies the good options, is really understanding, which is a theory. It's an explanation. I like the word theory probably more than explanation, just because it clarifies that it's not known. But I try to base decisions off of, like, everyone loves the word first principles, but it's what are the things that I'm the most confident in? Well, let's weight those more heavy than the things I'm less confident in. And it's one of those things that is, all the things that I think I'm saying are so straightforward and so simple that it's like, this is not, I don't think it's high IQ stuff, but at the same time, not many people actually act this way, and they don't really think about it this way. And I think they let their intuition and emotion take too high a priority, and that can be dangerous, and that can hurt people a lot. I think crypto is very emotional. I think it's very speculative, and it's hard to know for sure if something is under or overvalued. And I think it's almost self-evident that is true, as you can see, because the price year to year is so different from each other, even going down, that it's almost self-evident that at one point in time people overpriced it. But which I think is due to emotion and speculation. And I think the reason there's so much emotion and speculation in crypto is because there's not very many core assumptions that everyone holds to decide if something is valuable or not. And I don't know, it all relates together. That's what is the innate value of a particular token is a question that I'm trying to develop good answers to. Anyway.
Maxim, I really appreciate that. What you've said rings true to a lot of things I said, to what I expected you to say. And, you know, they call it FOMO for a reason. But there's no FOMO if you get in through the hardest of times and you go through the best of times and you see it go back and down again and you see it go back up again. You have to be in there. You have to be in the market for a certain amount of time to start to understand the principles of what this really is. I think that's where you get a bit of understanding.
Price in crypto, as much as anything I'm aware of, is from fear of missing out, and FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, make the top and the bottom. And yeah, it's so common for people to sell the bottom, and it's so common for people to sell the top. Most people get into crypto in the bull market, and they're suffering through the first bear market if they even make it through. And like, if you have an explanation that tells you, like, hints at the actual value of something, you have something to cling to that tells you if it's overpriced, regardless of what the market is currently emotionally saying is the current price. But it's I find crypto uniquely hard to quantify its innate value, but I do believe that there is actual innate value, and otherwise I wouldn't play the game. Otherwise I would think that it is all speculation and basically gambling, and I'm not really interested in that. I want to intentionally earn wealth through understanding, not through happenstance. And I've seen too many people get wealthy and just lose it because they don't understand in the first place, and that's almost worse than not even having it, I think.
I think the fundamental point of this topic is that you can never be 100% correct. And even if you think you're 100% correct, remove 20% of that, because there should always be a buffer for a mistake. And you can use the example of RH's mid-May announcement. How certain were people that that was going to happen? And how many of those people got wrecked? That should be an example. Doesn't matter if it's RH God, Alex God, whoever type of God says whatever, you still need to keep a buffer. Otherwise you will get wrecked.
I agree. Yeah, there's a fancy word called fallibilism, which is basically the assumption that nothing is 100% known, and no human theory is 100% correct. And science over time has continually improved and found more efficient answers to the way the world works. And that's only possible if you're questioning what we think we know. You can't improve if you're not able to question. If you, once you assume that it's true, then you can never make it better. And yeah, it doesn't really matter necessarily who's saying it. And I think that people ideally are acting from their own explanations, and it's really worth, if someone appears wise, it's worth paying attention, I think. But still, if the person doesn't understand why the person's saying it, it can be dangerous to act just because someone else says, I think. And I know yeah, that I've fallen into that trap, and I've decided I'm basically never going to do something just because someone else says. I found out that most of the time principles and reasons are explainable. And if they're not explainable in a way that could be understood, there probably wasn't understanding in the first place by the person talking. And yeah, there's too many very, very brilliant people that have broken down relatively complex, seemingly complex things into very, very simple. And it seems to me the most brilliant people make things very simple. And if I can understand them, then I think I can understand the majority of people. and I think it's worth it to me to take responsibility myself and try to have explanations myself for why I'm doing what I'm doing, and not just blindly follow people. I want to intentionally take control of my life, and I think that comes from doing the best I can with what I know, which I think is different from just blindly following someone else.
It's coming to your own conclusions of these things.
I agree. I just think that having that 20% buffer, like if you find something that has product market fit, it's an unbelievable thing. It has the potential to change the world. It has everything going for it. The people in the lead with experience, the ability to market teams, the ability to take an idea from just an idea to a real world product. Even then, accepting the fact that you can only be 80% correct is a very healthy mindset, because that way you will automatically set something aside just in case something goes wrong, so you can survive on that which you have on the side instead of being forced to sell your assets for a minus. So
I would just count the cost. Just make sure that you're not lying to yourself. That's really a lot of it. And I've been fortunate enough to have some very high IQ friends, and it's just shown me the ability for even extremely intelligent people to lie to themselves. They're still susceptible to human error, even though their minds are very, very capable. And I think a lot of it is the hard part sometimes is people aren't even using the options that they see in front of them. There's a part of them that would have seen that potential downfall, but they're afraid to even consider it. And so then they didn't make a plan because they didn't consider it. They were in love with this one image, and they were afraid to question it. And it rarely works out in someone's best interest to ignore reality and not count the cost. And the best time to count the cost is before you make the action. Decide if it's worth it and have a plan before. The more important the thing is, the more that there's a chance that this thing, will really affect your life, that it'll have consequences associated with it. Probably the more important to consider the potential downsides associated with it. And it's not always easy to do.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I think some people just get caught up in the moment, and at the end of the day, do not get caught in the moment, because that moment has a chance to end. So be ready for the exit, the escape. Be a specialist.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, if you count the cost, if you're like, well, this downside could happen and I accept that, if the downside happens, you still have no regrets. And it's a way to live without, like, it's a theoretical way to live without regrets. It's like if you want to ask this hot girl out and you know she may turn you down, but it's like maybe she won't. I'll never know, and I'll regret the rest of my life even not trying. What if I like if you're willing to put up with her turning you down, then you have nothing to lose, and it's not a reason to regret asking her out. And it's yeah, I mean it's a way to, I don't know, I would rather live that way. It's meaningful to me.
Well, I'll just say again, Maxim, thank you so much for speaking openly in this chat. Really appreciate it, dude.
Thanks, you guys. I still think this is one of the best chats I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of.
100%. It is the best chat as far as I'm concerned.
Yo, Maxim, that's like a Russian name, isn't it?
Yeah, or Greek. It is Russian
Okay.
too.
Do you speak Russian?
No, I don't. It's a pseudonym. So Maxim, I chose that. It has to do with maxims or principles, which I am all about. So that's why I chose Maxim. It's one of my kids, I named him Maxim.
Yeah, because in Russian you just say Maxim. It's like probably do the same in Greek.
Yeah. Yeah, I get asked that a lot if I'm Russian or if my family's Russian. Well, guys, I do have to go, so thanks for talking. Best to all you guys.
Always a pleasure, man.
See you, brother.
See ya.
Hey, have a good one.
I think
Oh,
like
yeah,
what's more
guys.
powerful than the whole like when Kismet was saying the 20% buffer, like more than just like, hey, I'm gonna make an investment choice, have a 20% buffer. Like understand why that's important. Like there's the key, right? And then maybe your buffer is 18 or 50 or whatever. The point is like why have the buffer? Like the maybe the mental shift is the key there, right? Not just blindly listening to a guy with a cat pick, because there's so much power in what he's saying, but like the mentality is the powerful thing, right? Like he didn't just wake up one day, I'm sure, and think, oh, I'm gonna have a 20% buffer. It's like a thought process. And there's, I think, where the power lies. Like a mental shift can bring you so much more than just blindly following somebody, right? But yeah, I think that's definitely where a lot of success can be had.
Yeah, I think it can be summed up into unforeseen consequences. You have to accept that no matter how smart you are, something can happen. It can come from left field, completely unexpected, but it can happen. And when that happens, do you really want to be trapped? So that's why the 20% buffer can set you up for like a different, risk profile. Even though you might not gain full gain once, like if the plan goes 100% according to plan, but it's better to be safe than sorry in that situation, in my opinion.
want to bring something up, probably off the topic. 2 weeks ago, I was talking about Icosa going to 80 cents. I just want to apologize for the FUD because it really went to 89 cents right now, 9.896. So just want to throw it out there. Sorry about that for the saying 80 cents when it really went to 89 at the moment speaking.
That's that 20% buffer, bro.
100.
Well, guys, thanks for the chat tonight. I'm going to make a move. It was amazing speaking to Maxim and all of you guys also. So I'll speak to you
Take care,
later.
dude.
Good talking to you, brother. Well, boys or ladies, the market's looking good. I think we go up. I think we go up. Maybe a little bit down. We did have a big pump, but like, woo!
And yeah, like this is not. I know. Like a lot of people have lost hope or forgot why they first got in. I got DMs from people that used to be super bullish and now maybe not so much. And it's so easy to lose that in a bear market. And this is not intended to shape how anybody perceives the current situation or any investment situation, but it's just maybe worth noting that like when the market does decide to move, it's not going to wait for you, right? It's just going to do it. And so whether it's now, in a month, or in 5 years, whenever that bull market happens, whenever that market decides to go, it's just going to go. So, you know, having that self, like we were just talking about, having that self kind of like relying on your own mentality and building this, not just listening to A or B, but having your own way of thinking is so important and can bring you so much more than just blindly following somebody, because it could work 3 or 4 times, but if you have your own way of doing things and you have your own safeguards in place, you know, again, it's not intended to shape anybody's perception of what's happening, but you know, when it's ready to go, it's ready to go, both up and down. So it's good to have that mentality shift rather than perhaps just blindly listening to somebody's calls, for example.
I'm so funny, dude. Like the the guinea pig mango memes are just too much. They're just too much.
Well, my guinea pigs.
They're so good, bro.
They're so fucking funny, man.
It's unbelievable.
And king guinea pig.
I think Solix is like the grandmaster of creating guinea pig memes.
Yeah, he's the troll master, bro, from day one.
No regrets.
I just like I see like him going up the stairs to like one of these public buildings as like a hamster or you know, guinea pig going up like with like Rocky music or something. And he's just like fighting for America. Like
All right, man. It was a chill party. Good price performance today.
yeah.
Maybe we're gonna have another one tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys stay here, that's cool. I'm going fucking. I need to get food.
It's gonna be a good day.
I'll catch
Oh,
you
by
guys
the way,
tomorrow.
before we, Kismet, I did distilled
What's up?
water. Not sure if I told you, but like it's pretty good.
You're such a demon, bro.
I like to live life on the edge.
I like to live on the edge of life.
All right, bisous.
So yeah.